Black women with white men tend to be the best combination and have...
I don't believe this to be true at all, but just to play devil's advocate, I'm going to go ahead and say Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome is real.
Now, the Black community in the United States has experienced different arrays of challenges in their lives, and having an understanding of the kind of challenges they went through during the slavery season, and even how systemic racism has continued to shape their lifestyle. It is something like a cocktail of challenges that they have really had. But in recent times, there's been this issue of interracial marriages where blacks can easily marry to white people. And this has really sparked debate. There are people who are really happy to approve these interracial marriages between blacks and whites. And then there is those group of people who don't really appreciate of it. There is this lady who came on TikTok and said that interracial marriages tend to last longer, especially when a black person is married to a white person, compared to when a black lady is married to a black person. I want us to watch this video, listen to the reactions that the lady got, and then let's comment about it after the video. Take a listen.
Real question, out of all interracial relationships, Black women with white men tend to be the best combination and have the longest marriages. I have a question. Why do you guys think that is? In comparison to any other interracial dating mixture, Black women with white men last the longest. I want to hear your opinion, and then I'll post why I believe this is the case.
Okay, so I was interracially married. This is just my personal opinion, my experience. I feel like Black men do not trust a Black woman's judgment for whatever reason. My husband trusted my judgment. When I said, honey, this feels wrong, he said, okay. I explained to him why, and then there was no argument. I feel like Black men, but like it always has to be a power struggle between you and your woman. And it does not. There was no power struggle between me and my husband, who was Caucasian. Like, none. He trusted me and I trusted him. And that was our dynamic. And couples that I see, there are Black and white, where, you know, the interracial with a Black woman and a white man, they have that same dynamic.
Black women with white men tend to be the best combination and have the...
Okay, so this is just my observation. I could be very wrong. And I'm going to speak mostly from a college perspective, because I see a lot of Black women in college with white men. Now, somewhere in here, this could be a whole nother topic. Black women and Black men have become rivals instead of partners. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of Black couples out there, but when it comes to a Black woman being with a white man, this is what I observe. There's less sass, there's less vitriol, less attitude. There's less of all the bad things that a lot of Black men have to endure. They allow the white guy to say and do darn near anything. They even change up their language and posture, even how they dress around a lot of white men. So there might be some kind of sociological power dynamic going on there that I'm not getting. And I only want to do this video for a minute. So if you guys have any comments, give me more material so we can talk about it.
Black women with white men tend to be the best combination.
Generational accountability. White men are waking up, smelling the gumbo, and realizing that their ancestors used to see Black women and human incubators. So they understood the assignment. They said, oh no, I'm not going to treat Black women like property. I'm going to treat them like basic human beings. And I'm not going to see Black women as and human incubators. I'm going to treat them like goddesses. Like goddesses. Not like queens. They treat us like goddesses. Even when we don't feel like goddesses, they make us feel like goddesses. We'll be wearing our bonnets, wearing face masks, and they still say, you look like a goddess. Meanwhile, there are some Black men who behave like the baby. Fix it, Black men.
Real question, out of all interracial relationships...
So I'm going to speak from experience, and I'm also going to speak from observation. So here we go. Black women, just due to our own socialization, we have to have an awareness for the world, because we have to figure out how we're safe, how we can survive in this world. And that is expands our worldview as Black women. White men socialize themselves to not see the world completely because they're white and they're male, and so therefore they have the power dynamic. Well, Black women bring that awareness that white men don't have. That awareness can make them more empathetic, more compassionate, more aware of sort of the damage that white socialization has, and also the power structures at beat. Bringing awareness, bringing that compassion, that empathy to a white man kind of enhances his life because he can be a wholer person. And when you're a whole person, you feel more enhanced in yourself. You feel better in yourself. So I feel like Black women bring more wholeness to white men, and actually they appreciate that and they tend to stay in those relationships. Secondly, white men, due to the opportunities, again, that white socialization has, they tend to make more money. They tend to have more safety and security just by being white in the Western world. I feel like as a Black woman, you take on that sort of wealth of opportunity. You take on that wealth of safety that they have. So it actually benefits Black women as well. And usually what I see is that when Black women tend to date white men, they don't tend to date them because they're white. They tend to date them because they're being treated well by them, which means white men have to come with some level of empathy and compassion even before they get into that relationship, because as a partner to a Black woman, you kind of have to take on our own emotional labor. Just living in the world as a Black woman, you kind of have to deal with the fact that we don't get paid as much. We get treated worse by everyone, you know? So usually you're already dealing with someone who's a little bit more whole, and Black women are already dealing with someone who kind of cares for them. So they tend to get into these relationships for the right reasons, not because the Black woman is Black, not because the white man is white.
And have the longest marriages. I have a question. Why do you guys think that is?
Because I think that white men who choose to date Black women are extremely attracted to the internalized strength of a Black woman. The drive, the confidence, the outspokenness, they find it extremely attractive. They'll even encourage it. On the other hand, Black men find this outspokenness and confidence as a threat. We can see it with the obsession that most Black men have with humbling Black women. Like, okay, you're allowed to be confident, but not too confident, because then you're not attractive anymore, if you understand what I mean. Disclaimer, I'm not saying all Black men, but a good proportion of them are very much obsessed with humbling Black women. It's very weird.
Oh, I'm about to go in on this one. And this comment section is not going to be used for those of you that want to get on here and just be like, Black men just don't do this, Black men don't do that, Black women, blah, 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 blah. No, the comment section is going to be for genuine discussion. One of the main issues that I see is that a lot of Black men are raised in environments, in situations where leadership is held by those that exert dominating power and or force over those under them. So if every figurehead, every leader that you have known throughout your life that has held any kind of significance has been someone that has executed dominating force to have a leadership position, that is going to imprint on your mind and is going to affect your personal relationships. So from a child, as a teenager, as an adolescent, as a young adult, all the way up until adulthood, this Black man has seen nothing but those who lead have dominating force and or presence. And that forms the ideology. If I want to lead, I have to have power. If I want to have power, I have to exercise it over others to prove that my power is there. And once I have that power, I cannot let it slip away from me. Whereas a lot of Black women are taught, go forth and seek power for yourself and do not let people wrench the power away from you lest you be rendered helpless. And then when you have these two opposing ideologies collide, you have the mess of relationships that a lot of Black people find themselves in today. A man that feels as though he needs to protect and snuff out opposing powers to his own, as well as exert dominating force and power to show that he is of the leadership position. And a Black woman that seeks forth to gain her own power and also not to have it taken away from her so that she is not rendered helpless. And the thing is, a lot of things become misinterpreted between the two, whereas a Black man may see something that a Black woman is doing as a threat to his power subconsciously, and something that the Black man does may be a threat to the Black woman's preservation of her own powers subconsciously. This is why a lot of arguments seem to start out of nowhere, because the thing is, it's being interpreted by each other's subconscious that there is a threat to my power, and that threat is coming from the person I'm looking at. Combine that with the fact that the majority of black men are emotionally stunted, as along with some portion of the black women population. We are abysmally poor when it comes to our ability to communicate effectively. Add into the fact that you most likely have two individuals who have never had a significant male figure in their life to show them structure and discipline. When they start comparing each other to the white counterparts, they do start to seem more favorable. Due to extreme differences in circumstances, of course, but the fact that most white men grow up with a father in the home means that they have a tempered, structured, disciplined version of what it means to be a leader in a household. Given the fact that a lot of white women have a father and mother in the household as they grow up, they get an idea of how they need to conduct themselves around men and how they can surrender quote unquote power to them in order to gain more power in a relationship that most men don't even know.
Now, from listening to that video, I think it is evident that people have various issues and various ideas and opinions about the question of interracial marriages in United States. But for me, one thing that I take positively out of this is that we have reached a point where races can really marry and be peaceful and talk about the merits of their existence together. Because looking at the past, especially how black Americans have really gone through a lot of persecution and a lot of systemic racism that has affected their access to various resources within the society, they have really been disadvantaged in many aspects. And therefore, if we have a situation whereby whites can accept to really get down and live together with our black brothers, it is really a positive thing. For me, commenting about the topic, I believe that marriage is something that is depending on the parties involved. We can have black people married together and lasting for years and ages. We can also have white people marrying between themselves and lasting forever. But then we can also have the same people marrying from same race but still face challenges. Because if you look at the kind of divorce that we have, people from different races tend to divorce differently, and depending on the circumstances under which these marriages were formed. So I do not want to take sides and say that interracial marriages tend to last longer or anything, but I believe that for me, it depends on the personalities involved in these marriages. If somebody is really up for the game and ready to really accept the other party, it is really a good gesture that should be accepted. And whether you are white, whether you are black, marriage is marriage, and depending on where you are coming from, everything will really work out. But then there is this other aspect whereby if you look at blacks and whites, there is a way in which they tend to treat their partners. You see, most black ladies would say that whites know how to treat them. Whites know how to really treat them like goddesses, like queens, because they are ready to really provide. They are ready to really see their ladies prosper in life. But then if you go back to the black community, they tend to be very individualistic and they want every other person in the marriage to really work out something for themselves. But I think that this is just because of the kind of environment that all of these people are coming from. For instance, in the black community, you are taught to really fight for yourself, and in life as you live within the United States, it is evident that it is only the fittest that will survive, because if you really stay there and wait for things to happen, nothing will really work in your favor. So I believe that the best thing that we can do here is accept that marriage comes in different shapes and forms, and we must accept how it really happens to us. It is about personal choice and personal preferences. If you're somebody who is really into marriage, you will get into it. But there are those who really try this marriage thing and it does not work. I don't know what you think about this question. Please comment down in the comment section. Tell us your view and let's meet in our next video. Goodbye, and may the good Lord bless you.